Hi everyone, it's Tracy here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting with the Hickory Smoke Distress ink, and I have a piece of watercolor cardstock. This is the Ranger Distress watercolor cardstock, and I am just inking this entire thing up with my foam blending tool. And I just want to get that kind of that base layer of gray down because I am going to be using a stencil and another color, so the color definitely does not have to be perfect on this part. And I'm using the watercolor paper because, like I said, I'm using a stencil with some water, so I want that to react with it, and the distressing just works better on watercolor cardstock. I actually did try this on regular cardstock, and it did not work at all. I had to throw it away because it didn't look right at all. So then I'm going to take this stencil from Simon Says Stamp. It's one that I've had for a long time, but I haven't actually used. And I'm just going to spray this with my mister bottle, so there's just a little bit of water. And you can already see how that is reacting with the water. But I'm taking this microfiber cloth and I'm just going to lay that on top so I can pick up all of that water. And it's also going to pick up some of that color with it, so it'll be a little bit lighter. So once I pick up my stencil, you can see how that stencil and that water actually react with one another. So then I thought I wanted to add a little bit more color to this, so I'm going to lay my stencil back down, and then I have the Twisted Citron Distress ink, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that over the top of this, so that's just going to go in the areas that are not covered by the stencil. And gray and green is one of my favorite color combinations. I like gray with like almost any color. I've been buying lots of home decor and most of it has some gray in it, so I don't know why, but I just really like gray with any color. So I'm just inking that up. My stencil's moving a little bit, but it's not, you can always tape it down if you want to, but since I'm just doing a little bit, it's fine by me if I just have to hold it down a little bit. So there is my background, and I wanted those flowers to really stand out a little bit more, so I'm taking my white gel pen and I'm just going to trace all of these flowers along the gray border. So you'll be able to see they'll kind of pop a little bit more, and it's hard to see on camera, but you can really see it a lot more in person. So I'm just going to skip over this because it did take me quite a while, but you can see the finished product right here and what that looks like. It just really helps it pop a little bit. So I have this Hello die cut from Simon Says Stamp, and I want this to be metallic silver. So I'm inking up a piece of Coordinations 110-pound cardstock with my Versamark ink. And then I'm going to sprinkle on the liquid platinum embossing powder. And I'll just cover that entire area and then melt that with my heat tool. For some reason I've just been loving doing my sentiments this way recently, so you'll probably see it in a few more videos. But then I'll go ahead and lay my die cut down on that and then put it in my cutting plates and then run that right through my Cuttlebug. And I did run it back through again, so I did go twice through my Cuttlebug just to make sure that it was completely cut because it is a little bit thicker and the die is so intricate. So I'm using my little paper piercer from Tim Holtz and just popping that right on out. You just stick the little needle part into the holes that are in the die cut, and then it pokes out your die so it's easier. So then I'm going to go ahead and assemble my card. I have a white A2 size card base, so I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and cut it in half the long way. And I did trim down my watercolor piece to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And originally I had this square piece of vellum and I was going to add it right towards the center with my die cut on top, but I just wasn't loving that. So I also cut a piece of black cardstock and I was going to use that as well, but I didn't like the contrast of it. So you can see I have this fishtail banner from black cardstock. So what I ended up doing is cutting off one of the ends of the fishtail so it's only on one side, And then I cut a little fishtail banner in my piece of vellum. So I'm just kind of showing you my whole process, that this is what I was thinking and I'm changing it as I go. So then I'm going to layer these. I'll put the vellum on top of the black piece just to mute it out a little bit because it is a little harsh on there. And then I'm going to lay it like that. So I'll go ahead and adhere down the black one. And then to the vellum one, I just added a little bit of adhesive to the part where the knot on the black part, so you'll be able to see what I mean. So when I put adhesive on the vellum, I'm going to do it on the part that doesn't cover the black, because otherwise you're really going to be able to see that adhesive. But since it's on the watercolor cardstock, it really doesn't show because there's so much pattern in the background. So to adhere my die cut down, I'm taking a little bit of the multi-medium matte and just adding little dots of that to the back of the die cut. You don't need very much because this is a really strong adhesive, so a little bit goes a long way and it will hold that piece down. I just want to make sure that I get kind of the beginning and the end pieces so that they don't bend up on my card. And then I'll overlap that with both the banner pieces. And then the last step, I'm going to add some enamel dots. So I have two different packs from My Mind's Eye, and I'm using the gray from the one and then the kind of the Twisted Citron from the other. I know that's not what it's called, but the color actually matches perfectly. So I just randomly scatter these on here, and I kind of like to pair a bigger one with a smaller one, and then I also do 3 different little areas so that it focuses in on my sentiment. Alright, and then that is my finished card for today. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll try distress inking with a stencil and some water. If you enjoyed my video, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye!